All right, awesome, man. We're live. What's going on, guys? Welcome to yet another episode of the Chalkboard Sessions training. It's Wednesday here, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, and I'm more than excited to be joined by one of my most exciting special guests so far. Real quick, I'll give you a quick background of the Chalkboard Sessions and kind of the purpose for it. There's no company specific, but what I really wanted to do, my vision for this was to pull together some of the top trainers, top leaders, and top earners in the industry and put together a generic training course, generic training platform for people to come on from wherever you are in the world and increase, the level of your professionalism. And, when people hit me up for advice, the one thing that I always tell them, and I think it's kind of going to round right into the theme of tonight's Chalkboard Sessions, is don't get so caught up in the motivation, because being motivated, doing a ton of, personal development and getting your mindset can only take you so far in this industry. What's really going to, help you produce the results that you want to produce is getting out in the field and doing it, getting out in the field and taking action. And most importantly, getting out in the field and recruiting. And it's a pleasure to introduce you guys to somebody who's become a friend of mine pretty recently, but I've heard his name multiple times since I've gotten this industry, Mr. Todd Falcone. And, Todd is known as one of the top recruiters and most importantly, one of the top trainers in the industry. He's been involved for over 25 years. And for the past 8 or 9 years, he's been asked to do this specific training by some of the top companies, top leaders in the entire industry. And he's here tonight to give us, a good chunk of his time, which I truly appreciate, and share some nuggets on how to recruit up, how to go out of your comfort zone, how to go out of even your zone of expectancy and go get the type of people that you want in your business. Go get the type of business professionals that are going to take you to that desired income. So without any further ado, I'm going to get myself out of the way and turn it over here. We've got a heck of a session ahead of us, guys. 100%, put the distractions away, turn off the TV, turn off your cell phones, put them on airplane mode, turn off Facebook in the background, get a pen and get a notepad, because you are about to learn from who is widely regarded as one of the top trainers in the industry, hands down. Talk to anybody, household name. And with that, I'm going to turn this thing over to you, Todd. Are you out there, my friend?
Jason, right here. How you guys doing? Great to be here. Hopefully I'm coming in loud and clear.
Loud and clear, brother. Take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm going to actually do a little screen share here and switch over my screen, and we will go ahead and get this show on the road. So, well, first of all, I'm excited to this is my favorite subject to talk about. I get asked to speak on success in network marketing literally all over the world. I'm getting ready to do a month-long tour in Australia here in a couple weeks. And this particular subject, recruiting up, is something that I've been doing for a very long period of time. I discovered through my own experiences and began teaching on it about 8-9 years ago. So that is the subject tonight. That's the topic for tonight. So follow me on your screen and listen with your ears and do take notes, because I'm going to give you some specific things that you can do to propel your business forward by recruiting top-notch talented professionals into your businesses. And these are the exact strategies that I employ. And here's what you're going to learn on the webinar tonight. You're going to learn how to apply my very simple professional prospecting method and begin to consistently recruit pros, professional quality people into your network marketing business. And most importantly, I believe, be able to do it with confidence and do it as if you are a professional. Even if you're not yet a professional, I'm going to teach you how to do it the way pros do it. So here's the bottom line. Your key to success in network marketing is building a big team of self-reliant, responsible producers that have both the willingness and the capacity, the ability to do what it is that we do on a daily basis. And the key thing for us to understand is we got to go out and recruit good people. And people are always asking the question, well, where are all the good people? I remember years ago when I first started in network marketing, I thought to myself, well, where's all the good people at? They're certainly not in my downline. How do I find them? And here's your challenge. This is everyone's challenge in network marketing, is number one, finding good people. Number two, and this is huge, knowing what to say to them to get their attention, to listen to you. And to number three, be able to approach these people with confidence and professionalism, because when it comes to recruiting up the socioeconomic chain, we have to do so in a way that is exhibiting confidence and professionalism. Otherwise, we're not going to actually attract these people and they'll just blow us off. So I'm going to teach you how to do that tonight. So here's the good news. The method is very, very easy to learn. It's not hard. There are zero marketing costs or expenses associated with doing it. I don't show you a way where you go buy these people or you have to advertise to generate these people. It's actually free to do it. It does not require months of trial and error to figure it out. And it can create results for you as soon as today. I mean, you can literally get off of the webinar when we're done and start using what I'm teaching here, and you could apply it into your business and end up possibly recruiting a professional person. Who knows, if you get after it tonight, maybe tonight or as early as tomorrow. So here's the deal. Unlike a lot of other methods beyond your warm market, because for the most part, we're talking about when it comes to recruiting up the socioeconomic chain, most of it is outside of your center of influence. But I'm also going to talk about how you can do it with people up the socioeconomic chain in your warm market that perhaps maybe you haven't talked to yet. A lot of these other methods beyond your warm market, they require a lot of hours of study time, and and oftentimes they require just a lot of time doing it before you actually ever see results. And this is cool because it produces results now. Things like offline advertising, pay-per-click advertising, learning how to be a good copywriter, setting up a blog and actually getting traffic and generating leads, article marketing, search engine optimization, affiliate marketing. All of those are really great things, but they all also have a learning curve and a time delay before you actually create a result. And if you're like me and you can't wait an entire year to start building your check, then you must invest your valuable time prospecting and presenting to people who both want it and are capable of doing it. And that's the key thing right there. So here's the bottom line again. If you're not prospecting, if you're not presenting every single day, then you're really not in business. The number one activity in network marketing is exposure. And I have people call me sometimes in my offices, "Oh, Todd, gosh, I'm so stressed out. I'm not making any money." And my first question is, well, all right, well, tell me a little bit about how long you've been in your business and what you're doing, and how many new people have you actually talked to or introduced to your business in the last 90 days? And the answer I get more often than not is, well, not enough. Well, that's not really the question that I asked. And then I clarify the question again so they answer it properly. And a lot of times I get, well, over the last 90 days, maybe I've shown it to like 10 people or something. And those kinds of numbers are simply not enough. How many new people have you actually shown your business to in the past 24 hours? That's actually a great question to ask yourself every day, and really end every single day. I actually do this on stage all the time. Draw a box on a piece of paper at the end of your day and write in the number of new people that you've actually talked to that day about your business. It's a harsh reality check because, if you're being honest with yourself and you're looking at the number and the number is tiny or zero, it's not enough. If it's one, it's not enough. If it's two, it's not enough. I have a phrase that goes along with that, and it has a little ring to it. Double digits a day keep the commission checks on their way. Well, what does that mean? Do you mean, Todd, I have to talk to 10 people a day to be successful and to create abundance in this business? Well, I don't know. It depends on how bad you want it. But zero doesn't cut it. One doesn't cut it. A couple doesn't cut it. You got to get your numbers up. And if you aren't prospecting, well, here's why people don't prospect. Number one, they either don't know what to say. Number two, they're afraid. They don't have the confidence to approach them. Or number three, and especially if we're talking about recruiting up, they don't know how or where to find good people. My center of influence, my warm market, when I started, I was 22 years old, living in Southern California. All my buddies were a bunch of broke, stoned surfers who didn't want to do anything but buy weed and go surfing. And so trying to recruit those guys into my business was not an easy task. In fact, I only recruited one person out of my warm market, and I had to say to myself, well, where the heck are all the good people? Because they're certainly not in my warm market. And procrastination happens for one primary reason, and that's low confidence relative to the task at hand. People put stuff off because they're not comfortable with it. I don't have a lot of confidence doing it. And because I don't have a lot of confidence doing it, I'm going to blow it off and I'm going to continue to procrastinate because I don't feel that I'm really good at it. So today you're going to learn who the best prospects are to target when it comes to recruiting talent, how to find them, and you're going to learn exactly what to say to them to capture their attention. Here's the first question I'd have you ask. Why recruit up rather than simply recruit anyone? I mean, when I first started in network marketing, I asked, well, who's a prospect? They said, well, go take a mirror out in the marketplace and shove it up underneath their nose, and if it fogs up, they're a prospect. Okay, I get it. Anyone's a prospect. That doesn't mean, however, that anyone and everyone is meant to do network marketing. But why do you want to do it? Number one, why do we want to recruit up the socioeconomic chain? Number one, it creates a culture of doers because successful people are accustomed to doing. They're accustomed to rolling up their sleeves and getting it done. Number two, it reduces prospecting frustration and aggravation because you're going after doer type people, people that, hey, when they see something, they grab it, they go after it, they do something with it rather than, I don't know about you, but I've recruited friends of mine that just signed up and never did anything. And for me, as a person that recruited them, I got frustrated. I had prospecting frustration. I had aggravation until I began to recruit up. Number three, it shortens the learning curve for new reps because successful people figure it out way faster than someone who's not yet successful. Number four, it accelerates organizational growth potential. And the reason that is because successful people surround themselves with like people. We do this in life. We attract and we hang out with people that are similar to us. That's the way it works. So if you got a 42-year-old real estate agent that's making $250,000 a year, he's not hanging out with a bunch of, kids over at the Circle K slipping on Slurpees all day, loitering and causing problems. He's hanging out with other super successful people. Number five, it makes the business building process fun. And if you're not having fun in this business, you're going to avoid it. And so if I can show you a way to go after good people, show you how to do it, have more fun in your business, you're going to want to do your business. You're going to get up in the morning excited to go talk to people because you perceive it as fun. Now, here's some of my insider secrets to recruiting. Okay, you ready? Number one is this: the path of least resistance is not the path you think. Here's the deal. What most people think is the path of least resistance is actually the path of greatest resistance. Our natural human tendency is to go at or below ourselves socioeconomically. Most people come into a network marketing business and they'll go after their broke friends and family because they're like, well, they're my broke friends and family. Who cares what they say? I'm going to still try to go after these people. And what they think is actually easier is actually far more difficult. When you go up the socioeconomic chain, those people are actually easier to recruit than people that are below us socioeconomically. And if you look at this, and by the way, I'm, how would I describe myself? I am high check, low tech. Okay. I mean, I use technology. I know we're doing a webinar here, but if you're looking at my very basic slide presentation, I could have sit here and whiz bang something super cool together, but you're going to get my point visually here. If you look at below the line and on the slide in front of you, meaning below you socioeconomically, we tend to be met with people that say, I'm skeptical. Well, if it's so good, why don't you pay my way in? Well, how much money are you making? And they perceive the glass as half empty and woe is me. And they're like, gosh, I just don't have the money. Maybe I'll start with just the $49 distributor kit because that's all I can afford. And, I'm not going to buy any product, or can you lend me some money? And, that's something that's not going to be real conducive to a highly productive network marketing business. But when you go up the socioeconomic chain, after people that are more successful than you, those people that you see on your screen above the line, they're open-minded. And I want you to understand something. Just because someone's already successful does not mean they're no longer open to opportunity. In fact, the most successful people, the greater success they achieve, the more open they become to having other types of income opportunities and financial vehicles enter their life. They have the capital to get started. So if starting in your program is $1,000 or $1,500 or $5,000, they'll pull out their credit card because they can afford it. Their circle of influence, their working capital, is far more significant than the person down the socioeconomic chain, because again, they're surrounding themselves with other super like-minded, successful people. They see the glass as, hey, the glass is overfilling. It's not even half full, and it's overflowing with opportunity, and they realize it, and it's a lot easier. And until you do this, you have no idea what you're missing. And I guarantee you this, the first time you begin to recruit up, you'll never recruit down the socioeconomic chain ever again. Number 2, how do you instantly eliminate fear? It's called the power of projection. Here's the thing I want you to understand. What we project into the marketplace, the way we talk, the way we speak, the way we act with people, becomes that person's reality of who we are. Now, to give you an interesting example, let me think of it. Okay, so there's this little grand lady, and she fell and broke her hip. And poor little lady broke her hip, and she's been straight her whole life. She's never done drugs. She doesn't drink. She doesn't do anything. She's a good Christian woman, broke her hip. And because of her broken hip, she had to get some pain medication, and I don't know, whatever they give her, Vicodin or something. And she's like, well, I'm only going to take a half of one. So she takes a half of Vicodin because she's got the pain, and she's invited over to a Christmas party. And, at the Christmas party, she has a half a glass of wine. And because she had a half a Vicodin and a half a glass of wine, and she never does that stuff, all of a sudden she's sloppy drunk, and she's slurring her words and blah, 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 and just totally beside herself. Now, she went to this Christmas party, and it's all these new people that she's never met before. And what is their perception of what she is now projected into their reality? Oh, my goodness. Look at this sloppy old lady, drunk lady, who can't even, she's out of control. She's slurring, drooling all over herself. And that's really not the case. But in this case, she projected a different reality than what she actually was. So when I say this, because this immediately solves the problem for you when you choose to harness the power of projection. Because a lot of people go, well, why would a professional person want to listen to me? I'm new in this business. I've never made any money. You know how many times I've heard people tell me, well, why would a success? I'm a young kid. I've never made any money. Why would some, guy that making $500,000 a year want to listen to me? Well, they don't know whether you live in a garage or whether you live in a multi-million-dollar house. And it's how you project yourself on the phone when you're engaging these people in conversation that makes the difference. I'd ask you this. If you were making 20 grand a month, 50 grand a month, 100 grand a month, would you act differently than perhaps you currently are acting? Most people would say, heck yeah, I would probably stand a little taller. I would talk a little bit differently. I would act perhaps differently than I am now. And I had to learn this a long time ago because I was projecting desperation, need, want, begging. I was almost on my knees begging people to join my business until I learned how to harness the power of projection. And that is this, that you simply decide to act as if. This is not fake it till you make it. This is not lying to people. Hey, I'm living in a 10,000 square foot house when you're living in a 200 square foot room. It's how you choose to come across on the phone, because they don't know who you are, what your background is, where you come from. In fact, on this next screen, that's me. What's classic about that picture is if you look over my left shoulder, I'm pointing at that garage. Okay, that was a 1-bedroom duplex that I lived in Pacific Grove, California. And over my left shoulder, you see a window. That's the same moldy single pane window that goes into the garage that they converted into, I guess, somewhat of a bedroom. It had a carpet in it anyhow. And I had a desk in the corner there, and that is where I earned and got to my first $10,000 per month income by harnessing the power of projection, okay? I wasn't in my garage calling professionals saying, hi, I'm living in my garage, and I really need to make my business work. Can you? And, of course, nobody would ever verbalize that, but the way I chose to come across on the phone was as if I was already successful. And it's critically important for all of you in everything that you do, that you understand and learn how to harness this power, because it's like when you're talking, when you're speaking, think about this. When you're talking to a person in person or on the phone, the way you're coming across is projecting an image on this screen. And that image that the person is talking to you, who you're talking with, is looking at that screen, and what you're projecting becomes that person's reality of who you are. So you get to choose. Do I project need, want, desperation? Oh my gosh, I'm not very good at this. Or do you project success, accomplishment, assuredness, confidence? You've got it. You've got the deal. You're a winner. All of these different things, that's simply a matter of choice. Number 3, you need to know exactly what to ask and how to ask it. And there is power in asking. And especially when you learn to ask the right question in the right way to the right audience, it makes all the difference in the world. When I started doing this, by the way, I'll tell you how I discovered this method. I was already making big money in network marketing. I'd been working leads and other different methods. And I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I am so sick and tired of picking up the phone, calling some lead that I purchased that couldn't even carry on a conversation. I want you to think to yourself, when you've had a conversation with someone that's pathetic, and think about the worst prospect you've ever had. Oh, I'm negative. Oh, I don't have any money. Oh, I'm skeptical. Is this a pyramid? Everybody at the top makes money. Oh, and you get off the phone, you feel like you need to take a bath. Right? You're just like, ooh, I don't want to do that again. And then think about a conversation that you had. Think about the best conversation you ever had. You had a conversation with a person that was charismatic, that was nice, that was fun, that was open, that was interested, that was serious, that was ready, that was looking at your business, that was there on the follow-up call, that said, look, let's do this. And how did you feel when you got done with that conversation? You're like, I want to do more of that. Well, I discovered this by accident, because I had a pathetically bad day of prospecting one time. And I went, man, I'm so sick of talking to people like this. Where's all the good people? And I had a Homes and Land magazine on my desk. And a Homes and Land, if you don't know what it is, it's a real estate publication. And I picked it up and I went, hey, realtors, they're all pretty nice. They all work hard. They communicate well. They make money on commissions. They work on the weekends. They're independent thinkers. Well, I'm going to call these people. So I picked up the phone. I called this person. I called this lady, and I don't even know what I said, but she basically hung up on me. So I was like, okay, well, that script didn't work out so well. Maybe I should try something different. And I'm just trying this like for the first time. This is years ago. And so then I called another woman out of that magazine, and I just changed up what I said. And she said, yes, I am open to making money outside of what I'm doing. I was like, okay, cool. And then I called another person that night. It was a guy, and he said yes. And I'm going, I don't even know what I'm doing. But I got 2 out of 3 people to say yes and respond favorably to my message. So I got up the next morning and I started calling realtors, and I started working on a script, and sometimes I get good response, and sometimes I wouldn't get good response. And it honestly, the little script that you see there, do you at all keep your options open in terms of making any money outside of what you're currently doing in the blank profession? Took me about 6 years to get to that. Now, I didn't work on it all day, every day, but I kept changing the way I did things. That, to this day, is still the exact same question that I would ask if I were to pick up the phone and call a professional. And I'm going to show you how I do it. So the question is, do you at all keep your options open in terms of making any money outside of what you're currently doing in the real estate profession, or as an insurance agent, or whatever the professional is that you're going after? And you'll hear this multiple times during this presentation. Number 4 is learning to operate from a state of expanded awareness. And that's this: the eyes cannot see the things that they're not yet trained to see. And I spent a little bit of time in the advertising arena. And anytime a commercial would come up on the TV, I'd change the channel or I would tune out. Or a radio commercial would come up and I'd change the station. Or I'd read the newspaper and I wouldn't see any of the ads because it didn't matter to me, because I'm just reading the newspaper. Until I got into advertising and I realized that every single one of the ads on the newspaper, on the TV, in the radio, those are all my potential clients. So now I learned to look at it differently and go, is that an opportunity? And you got to understand, you guys, signs are literally and figuratively everywhere. And if you see them, you have to start asking yourself, is that an opportunity? Most of you, I guarantee, are driving by, walking by opportunities every single day, not even recognizing or realizing that those are potential opportunities because you haven't trained yourself to look for opportunity recruiting up the socioeconomic chain, because it's not something that people typically do. Number 5 is this: shifting your odds. The secret is prospecting people who are more likely to be successful in this business because of what they do already. And this immediately creates a shift where the odds are now in your favor every time that you initiate a conversation because of the types of people that you're now choosing to go after. And I'll give you a little bit of an example on that. All I'm doing here is prospect profiling. And I'm prospect profiling with people that have commonalities in the professions that they're in with what we do in network marketing. So number 1, and these are and I don't go, all professionals are not created equal. I don't go after doctors. I don't go after, we would consider, for example, doctors, accountants, attorneys. Those are all professional occupations. And I'm not saying don't talk to an accountant or, an attorney or a doctor, but I'm not going to sit there and specifically target market doctors. By the way, I tried it. I was at a very high level nutritional program years ago. We had tons of doctors that were, backing up our product. And I thought, my goodness, I'm going to go after doctors. I spent about a half a day doing that. And I said, that doesn't work. These people are impossible to get on the phone. In fact, I couldn't even get them on the phone. Couldn't get past the gatekeeper. It was an impossible task. And I learned to go after different types of professionals that have these 3 commonalities. Number 1 is this: the number 1 activity that they do right now in their business, not network marketing, and what they're doing is selling, leading, managing, or overseeing an organization. What do we do in network marketing? We sell products, we lead our team, we run our organizations. They're doing the same basic activities in their business. They're just not involved in network marketing. Number 2 is they're paid on production. They're paid the way that we're paid. A realtor gets paid commission if they sell a house. A mortgage officer, a loan officer gets paid if he or she does a loan. An insurance agent gets paid if he or she writes a policy. A salesperson earns a commission if they sell something. A car salesperson, a media salesperson, a whatever salesperson gets paid by producing. How do we get paid in network marketing? We get paid only on production. We don't make a salary. We don't make hourly wage. So these people are getting paid the way that we're getting paid. They do what we do. They're just doing it someplace else. And number 3, they have a moderate to a high tolerance for risk. In other words, they've chosen career categories where if they do well, they're going to be rewarded really well. But if they don't do really well, they're going to have to bartend at night. One of my best friends, who now is a very successful commercial real estate broker, for the first 4 years, he had to bartend at night because he wasn't making enough money in the business in the short term to make ends meet. So he had to go, go serve drinks at night. I think we as network marketing professionals, we're risk takers. We're outside of the box from what most people typically do and what we were taught to do growing up. And while it's not a big financial risk, we're going out there and we're stepping outside of the box. I mean, we're going to take some hits from people. That if you're in this business, I thought all my friends were going to join my business. Not one of them. Well, one of them did. Tom Bennett, one guy. So I think we're risk takers, and these people that are in these professions that I choose to target are also people that are operating at a moderate to a high risk tolerance. Your ideal prospects when it comes to recruiting professionals are these key categories: real estate professionals, mortgage brokers, insurance agents, small business owners, people that have forked out a bunch of money to start a brick and mortar business, salespeople, account executives, sales managers, people that are leading teams, directors of marketing. Those are the types of prospects that are ideal for what we do in this business. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to limit you right now. If I told you right this second, you can only recruit 2 types of people for the rest of your life. You can go after real estate agents for your network marketing business, or you can go after burger flippers at Jack in the Box. Which one are you going to choose? Everybody's like, come on, Todd, don't be ridiculous. Of course I'm going to choose the real estate agent. I mean, come on, we're smarter than that. I get it. And I can make fun of the whole Jack in the Box deal because, and it's so funny looking at that picture, those 2 tacos for 99 cents. That was my first job, frying tacos at Jack in the Box. Let's look at it though. What's the realtor do? for a living. They sell for a living. What's the burger flipper do? They flip burgers for a living, or they fry fries for a living. What's the real estate do during their day? They're calling on people. They're social. They're active. They're networkers. That's what they do. The most actively social I ever had to be at Jack in the Box was look at my manager when I was flipping a bunch of burgers, and I look at him, I go, cheese on 12? They'd say, cheese 6 on 12. And if you've never worked in fast food, that means make 6 cheeseburgers out of the hamburgers out of the 12. Yeah, that's how social I was, right? The realtor works independently. The burger flipper, they punch in, cha-chunk, get paid, cha-chunk, punch out. The realtor makes money on commissions exclusively. The burger flipper gets paid for the time that they put in, minimum wage. And you could take this example into multiple occupations that are paid this way. Realtor's a risk taker. There is no risk other than getting pimples as a burger flipper, right? Number 6, you attract who you are. If you want to become a pro, become a person that recruits more pros and develop a team of pros, then you've got to start acting like a professional and engaging with professionals every single day. My question to you, and this is a big deal, is this: who are you hanging out with, investing your time with every day, and talking to every day? I honestly had to separate myself from some of my buddies. They were cool. I liked them. They were nice, but they weren't serving me. They weren't lifting me up. They weren't challenging me. They weren't helping me to grow. So I chose to start hanging out with and investing my time with other successful, like-minded people. Sometimes, if you're going, and many times, in fact, when you get into a business like this, I'm going to tell you, your friends are going to change. You're going to keep some of your old friends, but some of those friends are going to, what's the phrase? Some are friends for a lifetime. Some are for a season. Some are for a reason. And in order for you to grow and begin to attract good people, I would definitely take an inventory of who it is that you're investing your time with and who you're talking to every day. If you look at an information pipeline, the quality of the prospect that you put in to the top of that pipeline is exactly the same that you get out. It's just smaller amounts, right? So if we look at a funnel that you're looking at right now, if all I'm putting in is garbage quality prospects, broke, grumpy, negative, skeptical, complaining, blah, 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 put it into the top of the pipeline, what am I going to get out the bottom? Just a few broke, grumpy, complaining type people. But if all I'm doing and all you're doing is putting top-notch quality people into your information pipeline for your network marketing business, the only thing that could pop out the other side is quality. I want to give you an awareness reality check, and I know we don't have the ability to unmute the lines here because it's a webinar, but I already know the answer because I've done this hundreds of times on stages all over the world. This is a reality check on how many opportunities that you're missing out on every day that are literally underneath your nose. And in fact, I want you to type it in the chat box. I can't see the chat box because I'm looking at my screen, but I already know the answer, and you guys can all look at each other's answers because I already know what the answer is. Not because I'm a mind reader, but I already know. Ready? I want you to answer this question in the chat box if you have that opportunity. I'm going to ask you 3 questions right now to find out how often that you're literally driving by opportunity and not capitalizing on it. Number 1, do you own a cell phone? If you own a cell phone, just put phone in the chat. Just type the word. If you own a cell phone, and I know everybody owns a cell phone. It's a ridiculous question. I get it. But just type in the word phone for my own entertainment and for everybody else to see the example that I'm setting here. I know 100% of you own a cell phone. I know I'm seeing phone. Number 2, here's the question. Is it at all possible that within the last 7 days of you living your life, going to and from wherever you go, going to the grocery store, running down the street, doing this, going to work, whatever it is that you do, that you've driven by any for sale sign for any piece of real estate anywhere? And if that's the case, type in yes in the chat box. I would venture to guess that pretty much everybody in the last week is driven by at least some for sale sign somewhere. If it's possible, it's very probable, it's very likely. And number 3 is this: did you actually call the realtor and ask them or pique their interest and talk to them about your network marketing company? If you didn't, I want you to type in the word no, and you can see from all your peers that most people are saying no, 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 no. Maybe we'll get a yes. I can't see it, but most people always answer no, because what that is this: you're not perceiving that as an opportunity to pick up the phone and engage that person in conversation about your business. I'm going to tell you a quick story, and I'm going to give you a very big lesson for all of you tuned into this webinar. I want you to pay very close attention because you're going to be able to learn from this and apply this immediately into your business. So I'm coming back from a seminar years ago. I'd been gone for about 5 days, and my refrigerator was empty and my mailbox was full, and I needed to go grab some groceries. So I dropped my bag off. I get in my car. I'm driving to the store. About 2 blocks down the street from my house, I see this for sale sign. And because I have opened my eyes with expanded awareness and look at that and go, that's an opportunity, unlike most people, I slow down. I keep a yellow legal pad in my car at all times, wedged between my center console and my seat. And I say, and I keep that there for a reason, for this specific purpose. I pull over. I write the realtor's name and phone number down. Her name is Jan. I push the gas on in my car. I keep driving in, stop, make myself a sandwich, go into the house. I just wrote her name and number down. And this is what I said. I called her up, ring, ring, her cell phone. That's typically what realtors have. Good afternoon. This is Jan. I said, hey, Jan, Todd Falcone. How's it going? She's good. What can I do for you? I said, Jan, I was just driving by your listing here in Beaver Lake Estates. She's like, fantastic. Are you interested in the home? I said, well, Jan, I actually live in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful home. Let me tell you why I'm calling you. I'm an entrepreneur. I work a lot with people in the real estate community, and I'm in the process of expanding my business here locally. I have a very simple question for you, Jan, and that is, do you at all keep your options open in terms of making any money outside of what you're currently doing as a real estate professional? And she said, as a matter of fact, I do. What are we looking for? We're looking for an open door. We're looking for a quality person that's open, interested, and willing to take a look and serious about creating change. This is true story, by the way. This is not made up. So I'm driving. Jan says yes to me. Of course, now I'm getting information off to Jan. Now I pull up at my little strip center where my there's a coffee shop, there's my grocery store, and there's my post office box. And it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I run in, I grab myself a green tea, and I walk into the coffee shop, and there's a cork board. You can see the cork board in front of you. That's not the picture of the exact cork board, but that's a picture of a cork board. And because I know what I'm looking for, I always look at that, and my wife thinks I'm nuts because if I see a cork board, I run over to the cork board and I grab people like real estate agents and mortgage people and insurance agents, all these people that are posting stuff. And on that day, I walked in there, I saw a realtor, I grabbed his business card. There was a personal fitness trainer, I actually grabbed his business card, and I grabbed an insurance agent's business card. I put the 3 business cards in my pocket. I walked right next door to my little mailbox place, grabbed my mail, went over to the grocery store next door, and I put my mail where my kid would be sitting in the little seat in the grocery cart. And then this is what I saw, right? On the grocery cart was a smiling face. I see this big, bright, beaming, smiling face at me, and it's this guy named Greg with State Farm Insurance. That's Christy. That's just a picture that I grabbed. But this guy, Greg, and I am in the grocery store grabbing groceries. I called Greg from the grocery store. This is exactly what I said. I said, hey, Greg, or there was his assistant answer. I go, hey, can I speak with Greg, please? Yep. Boom. Transferred me to Greg. Hey, Greg, Todd Falcone, how you doing? He goes, what can I do for you? I said, Greg, I'm looking at your smiling face between my tomatoes and my eggs. And he's like, what? He goes, oh, you're looking at my ad on the grocery cart. I said, I am. I said, your smiling face is wedged between my tomatoes and my eggs. He said, well, what can I do for you? I said, listen, obviously, if you're running this ad in this in the QFC store, you're clearly looking to grow your business. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm in the process of growing one of my companies here. I have a simple question for you. Do you at all keep your options open in terms of making any money outside of what you're currently doing as a State Farm rep? And he said, I do. I said, look, I see your office is right around the corner from my house. Is it possible for us to get together and have me visit you, Monday or Tuesday of this week? He said, I'm free Tuesday morning. I went that following Tuesday morning. I sat down with Greg. I presented my business to Greg. He signed up in my business on the spot. No, it doesn't always happen like that. In fact, it almost never happens like that on the first appointment, but that's exactly what happened with Greg, right? So now let's back up a second. That meeting hasn't happened yet. Remember, I'm still in the grocery store. I grab my groceries. I get in my car. As I'm driving home, 7-8 minute drive back to my house, what's in my pocket? 3 business cards, the realtor, the personal fitness trainer, the insurance agent. On the drive home, in what most people would consider downtime, I made 3 phone calls to those 3 people. 2 out of those 3 people said yes to me. By the way, this whole thing is on an errand running session. The realtor said yes on the way in. Greg in the grocery store said yes. 2 out of the 3 people that I grabbed on the business card said yes. So 4 out of 5 people on an errand running session where most people are running errands, not even realizing that these opportunities are right underneath their nose. I'm making phone calls and growing my business. Tomorrow, when you leave your house, you're going to look at things differently. The level of awareness that you have is now going to significantly be changed, because here's the thing. Awareness is the first step towards creating change in your life. You can't change anything until you're aware that it needs to be changed. I've had a lot of people apply this method. And by the way, for a long time, I did not want to teach it. I thought I could outfish the pond. I had people calling me, how are you recruiting these people? What are you doing? I had sideline, downline friends. I finally had a guy named Anthony Leonardo, good guy out of Oregon, call me up and he's like, dude, you have to teach me how to do this. I said, I don't have the time. I'm not going to teach you, but if you want to get on the phone with me, you can listen to me make dials. I made an hour's worth of calls with this guy. He went absolutely ballistic nuts. He's like, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything. Can you tell me the rest? Can you fill in the blanks? How do you find them? What do you do? How's it done? And I said, look, dude, here's the deal. I am at a stage where I finally did a little bit of research on my own and looked at how big this market is. I went to the U.S. Department of Labor website, and I looked at all the career categories that I was calling into, and I looked at the sheer volume, the millions of people moving in and through these career categories, and I thought to myself, there's no way I'll ever outfish this pond. And even if I taught a whole bunch of people how to do this, it's never going to get outfished. So that's when I ended up producing a training on this very subject, which to this day is still my #1 selling training program, Insider Secrets to Recruiting Professionals. This woman in front of you, Kim, out of Florida, when she started using this, she made 21 grand in her first 3 weeks doing this recruiting professionals. Now, granted, she's in a higher dollar, top tier program, but that's pretty solid. Ray Higdon, you guys probably all know who that is. He knows I'm very well aware of it. He also is very smart enough to realize that recruiting professionals is the smartest and most effective way to build a serious business. And there's some nice words from my good friend, Mr. Ray Higdon. And then lastly, Susan Sly. She's one of the top earners in an 11-year-old, $710 million a year company. Been friends with her for a long time. You can see what she has to say a little bit about some of the things that I do with recruiting professionals. But here's how do you take it to the next level, and how do you begin to start recruiting pros? Okay, #1 is you got to start looking for talent everywhere you're prospecting. Tomorrow is going to be different for you if you choose to act on what I've shared with you. #2 is you start to project that image of success now. It's not about faking, lying, telling people you're making money when you're not. None of that. It's just about how would you act if you were already successful. #3 is investing your time where it matters most. That means spending specific amounts of time going after people that are more successful and more likely to be successful because of what they do. #4, you got to do self-checks, you guys. Quality and quantity is important. That means analyzing yourself. I record calls just to hear what I sound like, because if you don't ever record your calls or a cross-section of your calls or meetings, how do you even know what you sound like? You don't know. It's impossible for you to do an analysis of how good you sound or how bad you sound if you've never actually taken the time. And I'm telling you right now, it'll be one of the more eye-opening experiences you'll ever have, and you will absolutely be able to make shifts in direction on your own personal quality of conversations that you're having if you take the time to record. #2 is the quantity. The self-checking, again, the drawing a box. Like I said earlier, you draw a box on a piece of paper, end every day with that. If you do that every single day for the next 30 days, you are forced to make a change, because the awareness that it gives you, the feedback that it gives you, makes you go, oh my gosh, I've got to get my numbers up, because clearly my numbers are nominal. They're not enough. #5, you got to keep your eyes open, keep looking for opportunity everywhere you look, and be asking yourself, is that an opportunity? Practice this approach. It's not going to happen for you where you're going to be an immediate expert tonight, but it doesn't also have to take you forever. You can practice the script, practice the approach, and begin to get good at it probably within the next few days. It's not hard. And then #7 is you want to master this method. Now, of course, tonight, very limited time. And I'd love to spend 3 hours with you guys, but I have another webinar I'm doing for a different organization directly after this. But I'll give you an opportunity for you to master this method. It's worth mastering if you have a desire to begin recruiting up, to develop greater confidence, to go after more people. I'm going to show you exactly how you do it. This would be your next step in mastering the art of recruiting professionals, okay? I produced a series about 6 years ago called Insider Secrets to Recruiting Professionals. It quickly became my top seller. Again, still is today. Last year, I re-recorded, remastered the entire thing, re-updated everything, turned it into, because we live in a digital age, into an instantly accessible audio training program that you can access immediately. You can put it onto your iPhone, your iPad, your mobile device, whatever you want. You can completely download it. It's available on my site instantly, but you can also download all the material. It comes with a completely downloadable course workbook with the scripts that I use, email templates, letters. I show you where to find people locally, regionally, nationally, internationally, how to be an expert in these different career categories without having to go to school to be an expert, so you understand the hot buttons that these people are experiencing. I'll give you a quick example. A real estate agent works Saturday and Sunday. Nobody wants to work all day Saturday and Sunday, but they have to because that's when open houses take place. They also don't make money if they don't close a deal. So if you know just enough about the different career categories that I teach you to call into, you're essentially a little mini expert without having to really fully understand what they do. So I give you a complete, and it is called a home study course because it is a complete home study course on recruiting professional people. The normal price on this is $397. When I do events, when I do seminars, I do discounts. The typical price that I'll offer it at is $297. But what I'm doing for you guys tonight, and this is the lowest price I've ever sold it at, on any event, any webinar, any conference call, is $197, okay? So you can pick up my Insider Secrets to Recruiting Professionals course for $197 if you act. And by the way, this site is not going to be up for very long because I can't have other people finding this website on toddfalcone.com. You can see the domain in front of you. It's toddfalcone.com/recruit-up. If you go in there and you go quick and you go fast and you grab it tonight, I'm also going to give you not only $200 off Insider Secrets, but I'm also going to give you my Network Marketing Mastery interview series. That's 10 one-hour interviews with some of the biggest producers in our business. It's literally 10 hours of hardcore, candid conversations with mega producers in this business. I have sold, I don't know how many units, at least probably a couple thousand units of that for $397. You get it for free. So you save $200 on Insider Secrets. You get the bonus training, the extra $400 bonus training for free, but you got to do it tonight. And I'm going to have my assistant pull that site down here pretty quick. So toddfalcone.com/recruit-up is the website. And I've got to leave in about 60 seconds. So make sure you write it down because I'm going to change the slide. So you better be quick with your hand because I'm going to end up taking off screen control here in just a second. toddfalcone.com/recruit-up. And when you go purchase it, you literally get immediate access to both of those trainings, like within a matter of seconds. So, and I'll also say this, and I'll finish with this. I stand behind every product I put out there. I already know that anybody who goes through Insider Secrets is going to be very happy, very satisfied with it. But for some crazy reason, you're not. I'm not going to keep your money. I'll happily refund your money. I don't want to keep your money if you don't like me. I don't want to keep your money if you don't think there's value in the program, but I already know what the answer is. You're going to get results because you're going to apply the strategies that I teach. And do yourself a favor, do it the way I teach it. Do not reinvent the wheel. When you go through Insider Secrets, do it the way I teach it. Don't reinvent the wheel because I've mastered this method. And it's really important for you to do it exactly the way it's taught in the course so you'll get the best result possible. So on that note, I am going to pass it back over to Jason. I appreciate the opportunity. And I'm going to stop my screen sharing, pass it back to you. And then I'm going to chime on out of here in just a couple minutes. I appreciate it. You're awesome, man. Thanks so much for having me.
Todd, I'm blown away, man. I took about 4 pages and I'm going to go scoop up my edition of it. And start getting in the trenches because, you know, like I said in the beginning of this webinar, and you really, you know, took it to the next level, Todd. You know, we spend so much time motivating ourselves, getting excited, but, you know, really who's out there to teach how to do it? And I know for everybody on the webinar, I saw the crazy interaction. And I just appreciate you taking some time out of a Wednesday night to not only share this, but also give it to us at a price that I know is phenomenal, because I have friends who have bought it for $397 and even at some of your conferences bought it for $297. So words cannot express how much I appreciate you for jumping on here, Todd, and thanks again for your time, brother.
Appreciate it, you guys. It's great to look at all the answers, because I already knew the answers to the questions. Now I can see the chat. It's not like I can predict it, but I've done this so many times. So listen, go grab that stuff, you guys. I appreciate it, Jason. Thanks so much for having me. And I'm going to go hit this other webinar. We'll see you guys.
Absolutely my pleasure. Thanks, Todd.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Hey, guys, so that wraps up yet another super, to me, super successful Chalkboard Sessions training. You know, every time we get off these, every time, you know, I jump off, I feel like a new guy. You know, I feel like I've taken a step further, and there's something powerful to learn from the people that have done it before. You know, success leaves clues. I always tell people, do not reinvent the wheel. Learn from people who have exactly what you want, or who have done exactly what you want to do, right? Because if they've already figured out, you know, what the schedule and what times to call realtors, then why wouldn't you learn from them instead of spending weeks or months trying to figure that out? You know, if they've already figured out that you need to move up instead of move down, why wouldn't you spend some time to figure that out? And guys, for you that are on this webinar tonight, I think you've taken that appropriate step to go do that in your network marketing career. You know, no matter what company you're a part of, no matter how long you've been in this industry, whether you're even in the industry or not, you're taking a step further towards your future by developing yourself and learning the skills. My advice is to get back, you know, get to the recording, watch it again. You know, if you have an interest in taking that to the next level with the training that he offered, I know I'm personally going to go buy it right as soon as I get off here, because there's just so much more to learn. And also, please go like our Chalkboard Sessions training page on Facebook. Also, if you go to YouTube and search Chalkboard Sessions training, you'll see Brian Carruthers, who's an 8-figure earner, one of my favorite trainers and coaches, a personal mentor and friend of mine. You know, Josh Swagel, 24-year-old, multiple 7-figure earner in this industry, also did a Chalkboard session with him. So there's just so much good content for you to learn and elevate your business to the next level. I think after this, you all understand that we all have an even playing field. It's not where you are now, but where you are going and what you're doing to get there. So once again, guys, thank you for joining us. If you're watching the recording, I appreciate you taking some time to check this out. I took tons and tons and tons of notes, as I'm sure you guys did, and I'm super excited to get out and actually apply the information. So here we go. Recruit up and take your business to the next level. I hope Chalkboard Sessions can do that for you. Much love, guys, and enjoy the rest of your night, week, and month, and then, of course, the year. Talk to you soon.